It's because you're used to me being lower than you. Freshly brushed teeth, that's awesome.
Tannins and toothpaste.
Hi, everybody.
Hi, everybody.
I'm Scott.
I'm John.
And we're married. I feel like I've said that a lot lately in the last day or two because this is the second day in a row that we've done a podcast.
I know. And do you get 2 podcasts for the price of 1? No. So last night. Yeah, it was last night. No, it was night Saturday
before
night.
last.
Saturday night, we were celebrating my birthday, and we got a little condo up in Tofty, Minnesota, which is on the north shore of Lake Superior.
Named after Tofty, Norway.
Like many things in the Minnesota area.
Yep.
Named
keep going,
after.
Keep going. This is going to be weird. This is going to
Why?
be weird. Keep going.
Oh, because we're repeating ourselves?
Yeah.
Anyway, I know. So anyway, long story, not so long. We brought our recording stuff. We set up our camera, and we recorded an episode on Saturday night. It was really lovely. We had a fire in the fireplace behind us. It was very cozy. But unfortunately, we didn't... there's an issue with the lighting.
Yeah.
And so it looked fine when we looked through the viewer, but it kept trying to autofocus. So, like, you have this effect when you look at that thing, it's like...
Yeah, it was like blurry focus.
And it kept going, and we're like, this... We can't subject people to this one.
Yeah,
so.
I mean, we've done podcasts where the airplanes were flying over. We've done episodes where we're banging on the counter and it vibrates the camera.
Yeah, this was just, it was too much.
We couldn't subject people to that.
But anyway, we'll show you a screenshot of what it looked like.
I think I know of a way to edit it on my phone so that I just have a clip that I can upload.
Great.
But the reason I just said this is going to be weird is because the thing I said about this being, or Tofty, Minnesota being named after Tofty, Norway, and you said like many things, and like we've said all this.
The patter has already happened. So, spontaneous. We'll have to...
Be spontaneous now!
Right. Say something different. So yeah, it'll be... It's been rehearsed, let's put it that way.
Yeah. Although people would have seen non-drinking Scott because I didn't have a drink in that episode.
Oh no.
So it would have been a very different It was a very different podcast.
You know what,
babe?
One drink Scott isn't that different from no drink Scott.
That's
so
true.
We'll see if we have to take a break and we do shots.
My friend Betty at work said, I can always tell you've been drinking Scott. She said that like on a team meeting. I'm like, thanks, Betty. I'm like, it's true. So
anyway,
we're doing well. We, like John said, we just went up to the North Shore of Minnesota. So talking about that for just a minute, it was John's 29th birthday.
Plus a year or two.
Did I
17.
make that joke last time?
Yeah, no. You said my 20th birthday. I said plus 17.
Oh, okay.
So it's Jesus.
Spontaneous.
Yay! So I turned 46 on Thursday.
Yes.
So we did a little...
He's much older than me.
Yes.
Much
3 whole years at this point.
You weren't supposed to tell them that.
Math is hard. So anyway, we were up there. It was really nice. It was really pretty. We were right on the shore of Lake Superior, and we did some little, I don't say hikes, but walks and stuff like that up there.
It was a half a mile.
Yeah.
And it was on a path.
Yeah.
But so why don't we talk about, so like the day we got there, it was a Friday, and I tried to get off work early and couldn't. So we got there, and it was at this little condo. We were able to bring Harris with us, who's in the background there. But it was a little 1-bedroom condo right on the lake. And so it was dark when we got there, so we really just kind of watched TV and hung out. And then the next morning, I got up early because I couldn't sleep. And there was a beautiful sunrise, which I'll put, I'm going to be putting videos in. I'm going to stop saying I'm going to put videos in because...
Just obviously, if they're seeing a picture, they're like, I bet this has to do with what he's
Scott
saying.
Put that in, yeah.
Right.
So then I had to wake John up because it was an amazing sunrise, and then he went back to bed.
It was really pretty, but I went back to bed.
But he went back to bed. And then I had a bowl of cereal and then fell asleep for 2 hours.
Yeah. And then we went up to Grand Marais, which is a small town further up the North Shore, about, 1,200 people, 1,800 people, something like that.
I think it was 1,200. And it's about a 45-minute drive further up the coast of Lake Superior.
Yeah. And so Grand Marais is a really cute little town. It's kind of has an artist colony feel to it, like lots of galleries, stuff like that. And it has this big, what would you call it?
It's a bay.
It's a bay.
It was technically a safe harbor.
Right. So it has a little sort of bit of land. I don't know if it's actually, I think it's probably man-made.
It probably was natural and they added to it.
Right. That you can go up on and see the waves and walk around.
Yeah, because those rocks and things weren't man-made.
Yeah.
So, so it was amazing. So keep in mind it's like just at freezing.
Right.
So 32, just at 32 degrees Fahrenheit or 0 degrees Celsius. I don't know why I just said that. That was your science corner for the day.
If you didn't know.
If you didn't know the freezing point of water. But some beautiful crashing waves and such. So it was absolutely beautiful. And then after we kind of hung out in Grand Marais a little bit, we then kept going, which I don't remember about how much further it was.
About 30 miles maybe?
Yeah. Went up to Grand Portage, which is actually the border crossing.
Which is closed.
Yes.
So, but they have there's a state park up there called Grand Portage State Park.
I think that's what it's called.
And so we did some hiking there, and we walked across. There's a path by the Pigeon River, which is the border between Canada and Minnesota, and it was really fun. Harris had a nice time too.
Yeah, there's like rocks. You could literally like walk across. I mean, it wasn't a big river; it was like a creek, but you could basically. There was one area where there were rapids, and you could walk across the rocks to Canada.
Yeah, we didn't because it seemed dangerous.
I feel like they're probably like Mounties in their uniform with snipers,
Probably, or like there's a
keep the Americans out.
There's like an invisible fence. Right. But yeah,
did we talk about the waterfall? Did you mention the waterfall?
No. There's this really and so the trail we went on ended with this waterfall. Called High Falls, which is a really cool waterfall.
So we had a wonderful time. Oh, you were talking about the waterfall.
Oh yeah, it's called High Falls. It was really cool. We've got pictures.
Yeah,
Scott's going to insert a video maybe.
And it's we don't know what this means, but it's the highest waterfall in the state of Minnesota.
Which means it might be the tallest, like from boop to bottom, tallest, or the highest up, because Minnesota's
as far as elevation goes.
Yeah, because Minnesota's pretty darn flat.
Yeah, so we're not sure what highest means, but it didn't look that much bigger than the waterfall over here by our house. So to me, did it look bigger to you?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
And we were a lot further away too.
Oh, that's probably had a lot to do with it.
Right.
I'm not a good judge of
perspective.
Yeah. So, all right. So let's talk about knitting.
Sure.
I ain't got a lot of knitting.
Yeah.
Because I don't know why. Mainly, I've been focusing on some socks, which I'm going to show, and I've only worked on that. I did work a little bit on finishing up a scarf for Mr. Fitzwilliam's fox, which I've showed in the past.
Okay.
I'll try to insert if I can find a picture or something, but it was...
Did you finish that up?
Well, I had finished the fox and the fox's sweater a long time ago, but the scarf I had not finished. And I had not put the buttons on the sweater.
Gotcha.
So it was a stuffed animal that I gave to my brother and his wife, and in memory of a baby that they had lost. And so I had put the baby's name on the scarf, and I never finished it because that's me. I never finish anything. So I've got this. I left them last when I visited. I left them the fox and the sweater and the scarf.
Oh, nice.
No, I left them the fox. I have to finish the sweater and the hi Harris and the scarf. So I did work a little bit on that.
Okay. Do you have it with you, or is it?
Yeah, it's in a bag over there.
Okay.
Not the fox, but the sweater and the scarf.
Gotcha.
So, All right, so I think you have to start because you have a lot more to show than I do.
All right, so I have a finished object. This is a cowl that I knit. It is a little big. It looks almost like a tube top.
Or a mini skirt.
Yeah, so I thought of Betty Ann while I was doing this because she loves the tube tops.
She does.
It was a test knit for Atelier Cliche. I think that's his name. Or his Instagram.
Or Cliche.
Cliche.
It depends on if there's an accent on the E, but...
I don't think there is, but anyway.
Cliche.
So it was a test knit for a cowl that he designed, and so...
And you said it was a little big, but when you wear it...
Yeah, when you wear it, it's fine.
Yeah.
It feels when I was...
It looks giant.
It looks gigantic. So yeah, it took me, I don't know, a couple of weeks to do. It is knit in Berroco Mercado, which is an Aran weight yarn. And the color is some number, but it's green.
I decided it was dark celery.
Dark celery? Okay, I can do that. And so it was really fun. So it's a kind of combination of slip stitches with cables. So that gives you this sort of these chevron-y lines and stuff like that. And
what did you just say about the cables?
It's a combination of slip stitch with a
Slip
cable.
stitch with a
So
cable,
that's
okay.
why the cable stitches are bigger. Because they're slipped down from the row below.
Because I said something about it being a faux cable. That's how that effect works.
Yeah.
Okay.
So yeah, it makes it pretty distinctive. And these are last. So there's a lot of slip stitches and cabling, and then I'll just put it on really quickly. Pardon the mic. Ta-da!
Actually, it's not covering up your mic this time.
Even better. So yeah, and it's got a little drawstring that I made with an I-cord.
I'm very jealous.
Yeah, it's very warm. So I wore it walking around in northern Minnesota, and it feels very warm. So yeah, and I think, so I believe the pattern is released. It's called the Horatio Cowl. And there should be a link to it in my Ravelry, since we sort of had to set up a pattern to link to eventually for when he released the pattern. So was really cool, pretty quick knit.
Talk a little bit about how you created the drawstring and all that.
Yeah, so the drawstring is just an I-cord.
Which you had never done.
Which I'd never done. I've done I-cord cast-ons and I-cord cast-offs, but never an actual just I-cord. So that was, surprisingly didn't take very long. I just used some, this is just Woolies, not Woolies.
Mm-hmm.
Woolies?
Woolies from Line Brand.
Okay, Woolies line brand.
What other projects have been done in that?
Oh my god! So it's actually the yard for the sweater.
When we recorded this yesterday, or day before yesterday, we referenced this sweater,
Right.
but I'm actually wearing it this
Look,
time.
it would match so well if you
Yeah.
wore the sweater. So another cool thing is the way that this top rib works is you knit kind of 4 inches of ribbing, and then you kind of fold the pattern over and you sort of attach the ribbing to the work by like picking up stitches from the work and binding it down to it. And then the other thing...
Did you do that with a needle?
No.
Okay.
No. So that was it was actually kind of, the first time I did it was really hard because it was like, it's a little tough once you're starting. So you would have to sort of make sure it lines up, and you can sort of see there's a little bit of a slant to it.
So was it like a 3-needle bind off?
No,
when you attached it, did you bind off?
No. You knit 3 stitches and then you knit like the 4th stitch together with a stitch you picked up from the back of the work.
So this was your cast on edge.
Yes, this bottom right here is the cast on edge.
So that's and so then once you looped that over and attached it, you kept knitting.
Yeah, exactly.
So technically, yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So that was cool. And then the bottom was supposed to be the same way, but I got frustrated and I just cast off and sewed it on. But whatever. And then you have this thing called a welt stitch. Oh, hi, Harris. Are you making some noise? Good boy.
Somebody wants to play with his bone.
He
He has to have a sound effect going on in the background in every episode.
So anyway, this is a welt stitch where what you do is you knit a couple of rows of knitting, and then you do sort of you knit the work together with a couple of stitches up. So it makes a sort of like welt, like pushed out
Bump, ridge,
basically,
yeah.
ridge, yeah. So yeah, and then if you go on the designer's page. He uses this sort of pattern a lot. So he's got like a sweater with this pattern on it and stuff like that. So really fun, really, really warm. It just kind of...
Yeah, this yarn is we talked about this. The yarn is so sturdy.
Yeah. Well, it's also knit, so it's Aran weight yarn.
But it's soft.
Yeah. And so I knit it with like 5s.
Oh, yeah.
So it made for pretty dense fabric, which was nice.
Yeah.
Because I'm a loose knitter and making gauge, I have to go down like 6 needle sizes. So yeah, this is...
And then if you're doing this true to pattern, this bottom part would have been much longer, right?
No. The bottom pattern would have been attached to the work the same way that this was.
But you chose not to do that.
I just chose to bind off and sew it. Because
okay.
Basically what it wanted you to do is you like bind off, like with this one, you'd bind off several stitches and then bind off and pick up a stitch from the back of the work to attach it. And I was like, I tried that for like 6 stitches. I'm like, this is going to make me crazy. And so I just cast off and sewed it on.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Well, good for you.
Yeah.
Okay, because I was thinking for some reason that you had said that it was also 4 inches of rib at the bottom. Okay, gotcha.
No. So yeah, super fun.
So one thing we've been pretty consistent with over the last probably 10, 20 episodes, maybe 15 episodes, is I'm linking to all the patterns, the yarn, some of our favorite yarn stores. I'm doing a lot of that in the description of the episode.
Yep.
So that's kind of our show notes. And so you will be able to find, if the pattern has been released, I'll link to the pattern. What's the matter?
Hare's eating something.
Come here, Benny. What you got there? So I will link either, if the pattern's been released, I will link to the pattern or I'll link to the designer's page. And so
Lovely.
cool. All right, I'll take that. We've got a little cubby system with all of our knitwear for outside over here. Whoops, and I just dumped everything out.
Awesome.
Oh, you were going to wear that for, you talked about, previous version of this episode, you talked about how you were going to wear that for cross-country skiing.
Yeah.
Yeah, which is going to be John's hobby. I'm not really interested in cross-country skiing, but I might do some snowshoeing. And we already had that conversation, so we didn't need to have that conversation in this episode, I guess. Because that was a boring conversation.
I mean, it was okay.
All right, so then now we were going to talk about our PEEP Mystery Knit Along. So the Progressive East End Project.
Yep.
A group of knitting stores on the east side of the Twin Cities. And every year they do a mystery, I think it's a mystery knit along every year. And so we've talked about this several times. You finished yours. I have not finished mine.
Yep.
But you don't have yours.
Right,
left.
I've given mine away already.
So why don't you talk about having given yours away?
Yeah, so I finished the scarf, I guess, maybe a week and a half ago. And so basically this is a really fabulous scarf. It is kind of, you have this...
The other side.
Yeah. That's the right side. Yeah, okay.
No, I mean, you can see the stripes better on this side,
okay.
I think.
Oh, okay. So anyway, you have basically a series of stripes in different colors, and there's short row shaping, so you get these sort of different wavy patterns. The pattern's called Riverfront, and it's by Scott Rohr, who is the owner of the Yarnery, which is a store in St. Paul, which just moved.
To Grand Avenue. No, it was on Grand Avenue. I don't remember where it moved to.
I don't know where it moved to. Anyway, so... and the way it works is, so each shop did the same pattern, and they had the same mini skeins, which were for these
5 stripes.
These 5 stripes, and then a unique skein for each store for this bottom and also the top.
Yeah. So when I complete mine, I'll also have a stripe for this color on this side, which technically should make it a perfect rectangle scarf, but I started this color on the wrong end, so this darker teal color on the wrong end, so
It'll be a little more organic.
Yeah, it's not going to be a perfect square, but
mine wasn't really a perfect square either.
Or a
so
perfect rectangle.
Yeah.
So, yeah, so yours was Oink Pigments.
Yep.
Oh, so the Malabrigo, for the stripes it was Malabrigo.
Mm-hmm.
And then for the, like John said, the main skein, if you want to call it that, for this side and the stripe on this side, each store had a different skein. Yours was Oink Pigments.
Yeah.
And mine was Lavender Lune.
Yep.
Which is a local dyer.
Yeah.
So
it was fun because I did the scarf, and I mean, it's huge. So the first, not to give away a pattern, but the first instruction is cast on 300 stitches. So it is a long scarf, and it is all in garter. And so when I finished it, I washed it, and I was like, I'm going to block this until it won't block anymore. So the scarf that I ended up doing was 8 feet long. So
it was a Tom Baker Doctor Who scarf.
It was. And so I gave it to our friend Drew, and just because they are a little more
fashion forward than you are.
Perhaps. I tend to like things that are pretty muted and pretty earth tony. And this is like bright green, bright blue.
I wouldn't say bright.
Well, anyway.
But yeah, I get.
Anyway, it's a very bright, flowy, kind of fabulous garment, and it seemed like they would appreciate it more. And also, Drew is a knitter, so
right, which is always fun.
Which is why you can give them the piece of work and sort of say, "Hey, this was 300 stitches to cast on."
Right.
So,
and not only 300 stitches to cast on, but as you always point out, 300 cast on stitches and then knit 17 rows.
Right. So. But yeah, it was a really fun pattern. I got really good at short rows.
Yeah, me too. So. Although the short rows in this were like it was a wrap, and because it was short rows over garter, knitted flat, it was, when you watch tutorials about short rows and wrap and turns and things, it's more simplified than a full.
Well, because you don't have to worry about the right side, wrong side thing.
Right.
So.
Right.
Yeah.
So I got really, really frustrated with the project early on because I discovered that I was making mistakes. And so the original pattern called for putting a stitch marker every 60 stitches, and then you pointed out to me to put them every 20 stitches.
Yeah.
And then other people have said you could even do it every 10 stitches. And so I got really frustrated with that because I realized I was making mistakes all over the place. Then once I put the stitch markers every 20 stitches, I'm not making mistakes anymore.
Right.
And I'm just pretending that those mistakes in the past, like it's like out of sight, out of mind. The further I go, the further into my memory it goes.
And it's a very forgiving pattern. Right.
Right. So I plan to keep it probably, I think, because I really like it. And blue is, I wear a lot of blue stuff. So
you have such pretty blue eyes.
Thanks. Thank you, my love. So yeah. So we enjoyed it, and it was my first mystery knit along, I think, that I did, tried to keep up with it in time. I didn't finish it in time, but I knit the first clue and waited for the second one to come out and all of that.
That was fun.
So I've not done that before.
No. So yeah.
Yeah. All right, so now we're going to talk about my socks.
Okay.
Right?
Sure.
So the project that I've been really focusing on and really, really enjoying is based around an advent. It was a Halloween advent that Trilogy Yarns, that Nancy from Trilogy Yarns did. It was 15 days, or 15 mini skeins. It kind of depended on how you want, if you wanted to do it every other day or whatever. But there were 14 mini skeins and a full skein. And it was based around quotes from the movie Hocus Pocus, which we've talked about in previous episodes. Like, I like that movie, but I've only seen it once. Some people are just fanatical about it. And I think it's one of those things that if you're somebody in your 30s...
Right, it was on basic cable a lot growing up.
Yeah, so if you're and it was just like people in their 30s seem to be particularly, not exclusively, but if you talk to people in their 30s,
it's a little more exciting.
One of their
them.
childhood things, yeah. All right, so what we're gonna do here is, based around quotes from the movie Hocus Pocus, which we've talked about in previous episodes. Like, if you're somebody in your 30s, people in their 30s seem to be particularly, not exclusively, but if you talk to people in their 30s, like
Right, it's a little more exciting.
one of their childhood things, yeah. All right, so what we're gonna do here is the project that I decided to do was I really wanted to celebrate this, and I just dropped my yarn. I really wanted to celebrate this Advent, and so I decided to do socks that used all of the skeins. So what we're going to do is I'm going to stand up and get closer to the camera and show them up close, and John's going to read off the names of each of the skeins because each skein has a unique name based on quotes from Hocus Pocus, which is super fun. And then there's a couple I haven't completed yet, or there's a couple I haven't used yet because I haven't completed the socks. And so when we get to those, I'll show those too. So we're going to start with this one at the top, which I believe is this was day 1. So what I did was each day I did like about 25 rows or so of each color, and then I did one for the heel and toe. And then when I got to each sock has 7 mini skeins in it. The bottom one, I ran out of room. Like it's time to put the toe in, and I didn't have room for 25 more stitches, but that's okay. So the first day was, I think, the Sanderson sisters.
Yep.
Okay, and then what's day 2?
I told you we can't die.
I told you we can't die, which is this one right here. And then this one right here.
Get your face off my shoe.
Get your face off my shoe. Then this one right here.
What a pretty spider.
What a pretty spider, and that was day 4.
Mm-hmm.
Then this beautiful magenta-y color. Well, magenta with a bunch of other colors in it.
Burning Ring of Death.
Burning Ring of Death. Then this one right here.
Book of Spells.
Book of Spells, which is, you can't, the front, the way it pooled, the front, it's like a forest green, but if you turn it over, there's stripes of kind of a lime green in it. So, and then this last one.
I Smell Children.
I Smell Children, which is also kind of has an acidy green in it, and then it has some like magenta-y, purpley stripes in it. But like on this side, the way it pooled, you can't really see those. So it's very cool. All right, so that was the first 7 days, and then day 8.
He's Lost His Head.
He's Lost His Head. Day 9.
Dance Till You Die.
Dance Till You Die. Day 8, 9, 10.
Cat's Got My Tongue.
And then 11 was Maggot Museum, if I remember, because I thought that was a hilarious name. And then this day, 12 is
Airhead Virgin.
Oh, that's right, Airhead Virgin, which I'm doing the heel. And then there are 2 more mini skeins. This one is Black Flame Candle, which is has sparkle in it, which is awesome. What did you used to call that?
Starlina.
And then the last one is Goodbye to Life, which is this beautiful purple color with black in it. And then the main skein, which is, I'm going to do both of the socks. The toes I'm going to do the same, and I'm going to use the main skein. And this it's Hocus Pocus. And it's just beautiful. All right.
Yay!
So I've been doing most of my knitting on I've been doing all my knitting on those 2.
Yeah.
And, it's not that I haven't wanted to knit. It's just, I don't know what it is. I
think it's the same reason we haven't done a podcast in a while.
Yeah.
It's just, for some reason, I think between traveling and stuff like that, we've been to Ohio twice in the last couple of weeks.
I've been a little wrapped up with my new nephew, Santiago.
Right. I think, we've been, both of us had a little under the weather a bit, so it's all good.
And we actually are singing with, so I'm singing with, John is the chair of the board of directors, and I'm a member of the Twin Cities Gay Men's Chorus. I'm singing, we are releasing a concert, and it's been, we're doing a Christmas concert or a holiday concert. It's been very busy doing that over Zoom.
Yes.
It's a lot of work, believe it or not. So, so we've been rehearsing via Zoom, and then we record ourselves, and then through the magic of
TV,
other people, through the magic of TV, they bring them all together into a blended sound, even though we've recorded ourselves on our own voices on the phone or whatever. So if people are interested in viewing, the thing that's exciting is in the past, you had to come physically to our concerts.
Right. If you were not in Minnesota, or at least...
or northern Iowa.
Or western Wisconsin.
Or western Wisconsin.
You're kind of out of luck. But we are sort of streaming the concert. It'll be on the 19th of December, I think is when it comes out. And it'll just be a YouTube link. So anyone who wants to see it can see the concert. So you'll see.
So there's no, people don't have to buy tickets or anything.
Nope. We decided that since, number one, we couldn't figure out how to really charge for a YouTube thing without making things more difficult. And also just, the whole point of the course is to build a community. So our idea is come see the concert. It'll be super fun.
All right. So I would love to have a huge boost in our viewership for this concert and say, oh my God, Scott and John and all their knitting YouTube friends decided to watch the concert. So.
And it'll be 40 minutes. So it's a pretty short thing too. So that'll...
And if nothing else, you'll get to see me sing a solo in a bathrobe with a towel on my head, pining away for my Amazon packages to arrive. That's all I'm going to say about that. But.
Yes. Yay.
So, okay. So, you have other stuff.
So I have, unlike my husband, I haven't been into that much, but I have a couple of projects I want to just really quickly show. We'll go kind of in...
I am convinced that you knit faster than I do, although when we sit next to each other and I watch you knit, it's like the slowest methodical thing I've ever seen, but somehow you're just pumping out all these projects.
Yeah, I guess I'm slow and whatever.
Slow and steady wins the pace.
Something like that. So this is this is a half finished object. This is the cabin socks from Ravenswood Fibers. It's a pattern that they sent me because I had bought their yarn and I was complaining about how there weren't any DK sock patterns. And they're like, well, we have one. So this is made with 2 colorways of theirs. DK, this one is called Autumn Drive. The white is called Birch. So I have one done and started on the second one. These are for Scott.
Yay!
So, but yeah,
I did try them on. They fit perfectly. Yeah. They're super comfortable. And so we were hiking / walking, exploring the northern shore of Minnesota, Lake Superior, and I was like, it'd be really nice to have some boot socks right now.
Yeah, you'll get them eventually. So, but yeah, I really like the pattern. It is, it has this little sort of detail, cable thing down the front, which I found really kind of entertaining and fun. And so yeah, that is. Oh, and so I was, because it is, this is superwash merino.
With no nylon.
With no nylon in it. So for the heel, I held like this nylon with the yarn, and it was okay. But once I got to the toe, I'm like, you know what? Screw it. I don't feel like it was like too hard. Like the nylon has no give, so when you're trying to like knit stitches together and stuff like that.
That's why it was so tough.
Yeah.
I wasn't understanding what you were saying about it. It's if the yarn has give and the nylon doesn't.
Yeah, it was awful. So I was like trying to do a slip knit, and I wanted to murder life. But anyway, so yeah, this is done, and then the next sock is, I've got this much done. So, but anyway, it's a really fun pattern. And from the last episode we did, one of the people who was knitting this pattern had a question about the pattern that I have not yet answered in the comments, and I promise I will answer that comment.
You're a bad person.
I am a bad person. I kept meaning to do it, and then, like, I'm not
then you're like, oh yeah, I'm a bad person.
No, it's more like I'm not logged into YouTube very often.
Oh, yeah.
And so I don't want to go on and answer as you, because that would be confusing.
Gotcha.
So yeah, I don't remember the name of the person who did it, but I promise by the time this airs, you will have an answer to that.
Oh, throwing down the gauntlet for yourself.
It's more like creating a deadline. So anyway, so yeah, that's my first pair of socks. The first thing I've ever knit for you. But aren't they nice?
They're lovely. It's just every time you remind me that you've never knit me anything, it's like...
Well, now that I might enjoy knitting socks that aren't knit with fingering.
Knit me one of these things. Knit me one of those things. The Horatio thing.
A cowl? But that's like, I can knit it for me. The thing is that, like, you wear stuff that I knit all the time, like hats and cowls and stuff like that. But socks are especially...
Socks are uniquely mine because of the foot size.
Yeah.
That's a good point.
So, you have knit me many, many pairs of socks. So I'm not saying that I'm a better person than you, but
that was an interesting way to frame that. Okay, so cool. So that's one of your projects that you've got going on.
Yep, and then I've got two more, and these are kind of more. These are ones that I'm just working on. This is the next one I'm doing is called the Caden Scarf. And so I don't know if y'all remember, we had a knit along a few months ago called Knit One and Done. And this was my project for that. Look, I finished it. So it's a scarf. It is knit with this wool, which is called from Alpacas Devos. It is Surrey Merino 3-ply. The color is Raven.
We bought it at Notorious in St. Paul, which is no longer a store.
Yeah. So anyway, it's a really kind of fun pattern. It does this. You sort of slip stitch it. You do a long slip stitch, or you slip a bunch of stitches. I don't know what I'm talking about. Anyway, and then you sort of pull it up, and it makes a sort of like detail rib and stuff like that. So yeah, that is good. It's kind of slow going. It's not good popcorn knitting. I mean, it's okay popcorn. We sort of pay attention to it. So I'm trying to do a couple rows every day, and eventually it'll get done. It's about a foot and a half, we think, 2 feet. No,
yeah, about a foot and a half probably.
So, and it's, I'm going to do it until I'm done with this skein plus a little bit more, which is 500 yards. So,
right.
We'll see if it's done by next year. So that's going. See?
By next year, as in 2021 or 2022?
Maybe 2022. And then my next one is another one I picked up. I haven't knit in for a while. This is the Thorn Scarf sweater by Martin Storey. And it's a cardigan, and I've been knitting on this one for 2 years. I was knitting on it last October when we were in Italy. But I sort of put it down, and I just picked it back up. And so it is a lot of color work, as you can tell. I'm using Cascade 220.
Did you mention that you got it from Rowan Knits?
Yes, sorry. It's Rowan Knits.
I don't remember which issue it was. It was pretty old, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Because you had to order that issue.
Yeah, special.
Yeah.
So anyway, it's a cardigan, and it's knit flat and with pieces seamed together, and this is the back, and I'm almost to the part where I get to start doing the armhole shaping.
Oh, wow. Cool.
So, yeah, this one is one I'm trying to, again, just do a little bit of couple of rows a day, and it'll add up eventually.
Yeah.
So I figure that once the back is done...
Because it's I think you said it was like a 16-row...
It's a 16-row pattern vertically, and then a
16-row repeat and a 12-stitch repeat.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it just...
That's not memorizable.
No, it is not. And it's not really... I mean, I guess I could read it, but the thing is that once I start a row about halfway through, I have the 12-stitch repeat memorized. So, but you can't not pay attention to it.
Right.
So I'm I really like it. I think it's going to be gorgeous, but it's just taken a while.
Yeah.
So my hope is to get this one done this winter.
Really?
Yeah. I can do that.
Oh. I guess I don't see you knit on it much, so that's why.
No.
Yeah.
I mean, again, it's one of those things I will do a row in the morning or something like that, or during coffee breaks and stuff during work.
Yeah.
So yeah, those are my projects. And
is it time to talk to our best friend?
I think it is. We want to do a quick Betty Ann update first.
Betty Ann update or a Betty Ann?
No, a Betty Ann update.
Or a Betty Ann update.
I don't believe there are any quotations in this one.
Oh,
so this is actually...
this is an actual... Wait a second. Are you implying that our other updates aren't aren't true.
I'm just saying that for legal reasons, they have to have quotes around them.
Gotcha.
So
Allegedly.
Scott is Betty Ann's mom, and she is.
I am not Betty Ann's mom.
Oh, Betty Ann is Scott's mom.
Yeah. That's true.
I mean, in some ways,
Well,
you are
that's true.
the parent. The child becomes the parent. But anyway, so Betty Ann is in Ohio, and she is up there being a grandmother.
Yeah. So she lives in Georgia, and my brother has been on paternity leave, and because Santiago arrived a little earlier than he was anticipated, he needs some extra care. And so with Lisette, my brother's wife, also working, I kind of put a bug in their ear that they should maybe have Betty Ann move in and help take care of Santiago. So I smuggled her across state lines.
I believe you technically trafficked her.
I trafficked her across state lines, yes. And got her moved in with my brother, and she's going to be there for a few months helping take care of Santiago. And
she's very happy.
oh my God.
Yeah.
I'm having that thing where everybody always talks about when it's like there's a new baby, either it's your own baby or like in my case it's my first nephew, it's like that baby, or technically I should say my first baby on my side of the family. Or my first nephew on my side of the family. Like you just want to show every picture and every video, and like it's the most interesting thing ever, and everybody else is like, yeah, that's great, it's a baby.
Oh, babies are cute.
Yeah. So but he really is the cutest
He is pretty darn
and
cute.
most interesting.
Well, he's gotten to that phase where he's starting to get interesting, like where he's starting to. You said, because we were there 3 weeks ago, and like he was still kind of. I mean, still lots of fun, but like when you were there last week, he was like focusing and like talking back and stuff like that, which is really fun.
Mimicking sounds and stuff like that. So he's doing really great. Yeah, so that's the current Betty Ann update. I thought about trying to twist her arm and getting her on camera, but we had a lot going on with figuring out, the Santiago stuff, and we had a lot of YouTube videos to watch and a lot of cookies to eat. And donuts to get from Dunkin' Donuts.
Yeah,
because
it's the work of life.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. So So now is it time to talk about our best friend?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So part of our YouTube journey is we watch a different Angela Lansbury movie every episode and then talk about it with you all. I don't know how many people are actually watching along with us. I would be curious to know if anybody is. I think
a couple of people are.
I think a couple of people are. But yeah, so this time we watched Death on the Nile.
Yes.
And as Todd said, wait, you always remember. I don't remember what it was he said.
You watch it because basically Angela Lansbury, Maggie Smith, and Betty Davis like sit and snipe at each other the whole time. Yeah. Which is highly entertaining.
It was very entertaining.
Yeah.
So let's go through our Angela Lansbury checklist.
Okay.
Because we did not do that correctly when we recorded this episode the first time.
Right.
No cats.
No cats.
No knitting.
No knitting. She played a character who was probably the same age she was.
Yeah, I'm not sure about that. Because she would have been in her 40s, right? Because she was born in 25.
78.
She was born in 25, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, no, she'd been in her 50s.
That's right. Wait.
Mid-50s. 53.
53, yeah.
Yeah, so that kind of makes sense.
Yeah, she had an adult daughter.
Yeah,
the character
Olivia Hussey played her daughter.
Yeah.
Which I love, Olivia Hussey. And who doesn't remember, at least this was a big deal in my 9th grade class, seeing Olivia Hussey's boobs in Romeo and Juliet.
Our video had a little boop.
Are you serious?
Oh, yeah, yeah.
See, when it got to that part, our teacher had planned to stand up and cover up the screen during it, but she missed it because she was kind of an airhead. So she missed it.
Yeah, no, our VHS hit. It went like blue screen for like a second and a half.
That's hilarious.
Yeah, censorship in the Bible Belt.
Americans are so prudish, and then when you live in the Bible Belt.
Right.
So what were we talking about? Olivia Hussey, Romeo and Juliet.
And her billing, the billing was in alphabetical order, so she was in the L's.
Oh, yeah, that's right. That's
so, what did you think?
I really enjoyed it. I like a lot of things that John has already been exposed to, and you know, books or movies or whatever. He has a lot deeper knowledge of or exposure to things than I do in a lot of ways. I don't have a long history with Agatha Christie or Agatha Christie movies, or this was a Poirot mystery, and so I love mysteries. It's like I forget that, and it's like I read so much sci-fi. It's like I almost strictly read sci-fi that I forget how much I love mystery novels or movies or whatever. So loved that, you know, trying to figure out who and with Agatha Christie, I would assume, and you can probably tell me, I'd assume one of the reasons that she's so popular is it's not like on, you know, 5 minutes into it, you know who did it.
Yeah. Yeah. Usually there's a good twist, and there's a good twist in this one.
Yeah.
So yeah, I thought it was good too.
I really liked it.
Yeah, I've seen it a couple of times.
Mia Farrow. So I know Bette Davis, seen a lot of Bette Davis movies. I know
Maggie Smith.
Maggie Smith, obviously. But what was the other Mia Farrow thing?
She's in Rosemary's Baby.
Rosemary's Baby.
Right.
So, but Mia Farrow to me was Woody Harrelson.
Woody Harrelson's wife? No. Woody
Allen's wife. And like, I know
Were they married?
Well, isn't she the mother of...
I don't think they have to be married to have children.
Oh, so you just mean...
Yeah.
But they did have a child together.
Yes, I believe so. Yes, they did.
No, they didn't have a child together. Because he ended up married to, or
their foster
in a relationship with their foster daughter.
Right, but I think they have children
She
together.
didn't give birth to the daughter, obviously, because then that would be his daughter.
No.
Okay, whatever.
Yeah, anyway.
This is what it's like with me all the time, every conversation, is that interaction. So anyway, I had not seen a lot of Mia Farrow movies, but she's a very famous actress.
Yeah.
So that was cool to see a Mia Farrow movie, and then Angela Lansbury was drunk the whole movie.
Right. She plays Salome Otterbaum. I can't remember the name.
I don't either.
It's like it sounds like Otterbottom, but it's not.
All right. It's not Otterbottom.
It's not Otterbottom, nor is it Longbottom.
No.
So she plays Salome Otterburn, let's just say that's the name, who is this kind of boozy romance novelist who writes, I think, pretty trashy novels. It seems pretty clear.
And she subjects her daughter to way too much sex discussion.
Yeah.
And encouraging her daughter to live a life of free...
liberation, right, and free love. So you can tell she's having a delightful time doing this. So she's drunk and dotty and outrageous the whole time. So yeah, she's really fun in it. And then... So we're going to do some spoilers here because...
The movie is 50 years old.
The movie's 50 years old. The book's even older. So there are 3 murders.
Yes, which you have told me is a thing with Agatha Christie.
Right. There tend to be 3 murders, like the main murder and then 2 to cover... Like, then the second and third murders are like cover-ups, right? Yeah. So I grew up thinking that if you have 1 murder, you have to have 2 more. Not true.
So, as a child, were you reading a lot of Agatha Christie?
We had seen some movies and I'd read some of the books. I mean, child, like 12, 13, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, because we've talked about this with our friends, our neighborhood friends. Or was it other people? Anyway, it doesn't matter. We were talking to friends of ours, and it seems like a lot of people our age grew up reading Stephen King, which... That's very adult. Oh yeah, in a lot of ways.
Yeah,
and so yeah, it's just interesting to find out what kids read. I read a lot of Dean Koontz too. But...
B.C. Andrews. That's not adult at all.
Yeah, that's not...
You should give that to your 12-year-old because there's nothing at all.
My Sweet Audrina is not problematic at all.
At all. It's actually a lot more problematic than Twilight.
Yeah,
a lot more.
More.
That's saying a lot.
Yeah. The Bella in Twilight has a lot more agency than Audrina.
I don't know about that. We'll have to. I think towards the end.
That sounds like an essay that needs to be written.
Audrina from My Sweet Audrina and Bella from Twilight are both problematic heroines. Discuss. But we digress. So there are 3 murders, and the third murder is Angela Lansbury's character. And it's a pretty fabulous scene. So she comes in, and she's like, Mr. Poirot, I know who did it. The person who did it was... And she gets shot in the face right before she can say the word. It's awesome.
I think I audibly gasped when it happened.
And it's like, I've seen the movie several times, and it always surprises me.
Yeah.
And so that made me thinking about... We watch a lot of Angela Lansbury movies. And I think a new category we can add to our checklist is, does she die, and how does she die? Because I feel like... I don't think we've seen a movie where she dies of, like, old age, contented, and happy, right? So in The Manchurian Candidate, shot by her son. I'm sorry, spoiler alert. In Samson Delilah, she's literally a spear with a spear. She kills herself in Picture of Dorian Gray.
Yeah, she like throws herself into the
Thames or something like that. What was the other ones that we've watched where she has a gruesome death? There were.
Yeah, there are more. Because she's queen.
Oh, Sweeney Todd.
Oh,
she gets thrown into an oven.
Okay, I'm feeling really dumb about that. Who throws her into the oven?
Sweeney does, when he finds out that she had lied about his wife being alive.
Oh, right. Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
Okay.
So anyway, I mean, I'm not saying she dies in all of her movies, but I have yet to see her have a peaceful death.
Because in The Mirror Cracked, she is, what's her name?
She's, Jane Marple, so she doesn't die.
Yeah, so she doesn't die.
And then a lot of them she, places unhappy characters, but I don't think we've seen...
Oh, but no, and then there's the one with Mary Poppins Returns where she's the balloon lady and it wraps around her neck and carries her off.
Such a grim ending to a happy movie. Would you like a balloon? Anyway.
I don't remember any other.
No, I think this is the
gruesome Angela Lansbury deaths, but it's going to be cats, knitting, billing.
How old is she when?
How old is she? Like, is she playing her age, and then how does she die?
Right. Well, and you forgot Blue Hawaii, where she gets beat to death by Elvis with a guitar, with the ukulele.
With a ukulele, yeah.
So anyway, that's our Angela Lansbury update. It was
strangled with a grass skirt or with a leg.
Yeah,
strangled with a leg.
While being beat to death with a ukulele. So that was our Angela Lansbury. I would recommend, like, not all the movies you watch were like, yay.
What was that awful...
Moll Flanders,
Sex Adventures, or whatever.
Yeah. Ugh. The Sexy Adventures of Moll Flanders, which is not sexy at all.
Oh, and then she got run over by the train and the Harvey Girls.
Well, Judy Garland pushed her in front of the train, and then they served her at the restaurant. Because they're out of beef.
Because they ran out of beef.
Right.
Okay, sorry. So focus.
So, where were we at?
Next week.
So we have been trying to do streaming movies because they're the easier to get to. We're hitting the barrel.
Now, I said that the previous time we recorded this, and you said, no, we're not.
No. Someone suggested, we were trying to find Death of the Nile. Someone was like, go to your library and get it. And I'm like, oh, that's a resource we don't use.
Very good idea, yeah.
So we went to I went down to the Hennepin County Library, and we got The Private Affairs of Bellamy.
And I'm just going to put out a warning out there. For those of you that know what the other Bellamy is, be careful when you Google The Private Affairs of Bellamy, because...
It's probably... I mean, I'm not saying there's definitely a movie with that name out there, but if it's from the 90s and there's a shirtless Czech boy...
I'm just going to say, I'm not going to say any more about it, but if you know what Bellamy is...
Then you know.
So,
this is from 1946, so it's an early movie. I think it's her fourth movie, and it's based on a... Guy de Maupassant.
Not Guy de Maupassant.
Guy de Maupassant. He wrote The Necklace. That's a story that demonstrates irony.
Thank you.
And foreshadowing.
10th grade English class.
Anyway, so it's they made a remake of it with Robert Pattinson a couple of years ago.
What is with all our tiebacks to
Twilight
today?
I don't know. And then Charles Boyer's in it, who is... I'm sorry. George Sanders. Who's Charles Boyer? He was in another one of her movies, but George Sanders is in it.
What was that movie that we watched with the guy who was a horrible person and his little brother idolized him and he came home and...
That was the one, it was All Fall Down with Warren Beatty.
Did she die in that?
No.
Okay.
She was just awful.
She wasn't awful as an actress. She was awful. The character was awful.
Right.
Yeah.
So anyway, it is a 1946 movie. It is, I don't know. I don't know anything really about it except for the fact that George Sanders is in it, who's been in a bunch of movies. Oh, it's the same director as Picture of Dorian Gray.
Oh, interesting.
So,
okay. We're reading the back.
As you read the back. And George Sanders is in, he was in Picture of Dorian Gray with her. He was also in Samson Delilah with her.
Is he on the front?
Yes.
Oh, okay. So he was
That's Angela, that's George Sanders. And he's best known from being in All About Eve as the Addison DeWitt character. I think he's been in one more of the ones she was in, but I can't remember what it is. So... Anyway, we'll watch this.
So go down to your local library and see if
you can find it. Yeah. It is not on streaming.
Yeah.
But yeah, I was excited because when I was things that I read when Murder She Wrote came out. I went to the local library and they had an Angela Lansbury biography that I read.
You haven't told me this. We've been doing this for years, it feels like, and you've never told me that you've read the Angela... No, you did tell me that.
Yeah,
Never mind, I just have a bad memory.
So anyway, this is like one of her favorite movies that she was in. She really likes it.
Oh.
The poster of it is a picture of him walking away and her holding on to his leg. So you'll have to post that. And she got the nickname Clutch because of that movie poster. People called her Clutch.
Interesting.
So, anyway. So, yeah.
All right. So we have 7 minutes before you have to get on your meeting.
Yeah.
John has a meeting for the course he has to join. So, we're going to start something. So, first of all, things are getting locked down in Minnesota. I'm sure they are in lots of part of the world again. So, we're going back into hibernation with the COVID stuff.
We'll be seeing you more often. I think we'll try to go back to the weekly podcasting. We really enjoyed it when we were doing it.
Yes,
so.
We just need to commit to it.
Right.
So, one of the new things I would like to start, because I have to start something new every week, is predictions for next week.
Mm-hmm.
Now, they can be
next
personal
week,
life.
It'll be November...
It'll be the Sunday after Thanksgiving. Oh, that's your prediction.
Yeah.
So we predictions for next week. It can be knitting related. It doesn't have to be knitting related. We're going to come up with 2 predictions and then see how we did.
Right.
My 2 predictions are that I will have finished
your socks.
My socks. Mm-hmm. The second prediction is that I will have a plan plotted out on graph paper for getting my Christmas knitting done. And for me, what that means is that I knit ornaments for all of my family members as gifts for Christmas. So with that in mind, I would be very interested to hear people's favorite Christmas ornament patterns. I've done several now over the last few years, but I would love to know ornaments. I know you can go on Ravelry and search for things and whatever. I've done that, but I'm just curious what people's personal favorite patterns are. So
my prediction is I'm going to finish a hat. I'm going to start and finish a hat in the next week. In a week.
Cool.
Because I can do that. I'm going to make hats for all of our neighborhood friends because I like making hats and we don't need any more. We have so many hats.
Yeah.
So I have a pattern picked up. I have the person picked out. And it's a fun pattern I've always wanted to do. So I'm excited about that. And then I'm going to start. I bought a pattern. It's called Awreatha. And it's a knitted wreath.
Oh, you bought that?
Yes.
Oh, fun.
So I'm going to start on that. And I'm excited about that. And what I'm excited about is like it's a wreath, but like you can. I forget the designer's name. We'll post it, but like, well, maybe we'll talk more about it when we do it. But she's like, you can do it in green, but you can just go crazy with it. So I might just do it with scraps, and make it a scrappy thing.
The other thing we could do is do a plain one, like a plain green one, and then I can, because I can. What I could do is I could knit one of the ornaments that I knit, and we could add it to the wreath or whatever.
Yeah, and you can make the wreath like this big or this big. It comes in several sizes,
that's cool.
so you can do it for an ornament too.
Cool. All right.
So.
Well, thank you so much, everybody, for spending time with us.
Yay.
We're happy to be back and talking to you, and we will be back next week, hopefully.
Yes. All right. Bye y'all.